Hello, World Civ 106 class. Welcome to week 11. And I just wanted to kind of check in with all of you. And I hope that you're enjoying what you're learning. This week we are covering a lot. We're going with the Celts. We're learning about Vikings and then Christianity and its development and the Bible's development. It might seem like a little like an overwhelming amount of information that I do think a lot of you will actually still find interesting. So I just remember to, you're not going to, of course, memorize it all. You're going to have a background on Norse mythology in a way that you probably will not get a chance to be exposed to like this again. I really broke down learning more about this topic. I got really interested when I was in Iceland. I went to a Reykholt to go see the birthplace and the kind of shrine, as I call it, Snorri Sturluson. And I was very excited about that. The portion on the canonization of the Bible, I think many of you are maybe interested to know, well, how does the Bible come? Well, next week we'll be learning about Islam. The Quran, which means recitation, were a set of revelations that come in the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad, and then after he dies, gets put into writing right away. The Bible has a much more complex, longer set of development, and as you'll see, different Christian faiths don't even have the same Bible 100%, although the main portions are similar enough. But a Catholic Bible has more books in it than a Protestant one does now, and that wasn't always the case. So I hope you find that interesting. Basically, when I cover the Celts and the Vikings, the Germanic world. By the way, the word Germanic doesn't mean just from Germany. Okay, that's a little bit confusing. It's a linguistic branch of languages, and so I hope you enjoy all this. I just want to say a few things too, though, about the Viking stuff. So I'm actually going to post a few music videos that reflect a kind of there has been interest in kind of Neopaganism that's been taken. But on top of that, okay, so I've really been interested in Norse mythology myself, and I am part Swedish, and I just find all that very interesting. Well, I also discovered, I wanted to point out, that within the realm of neo-paganism and studying that, unfortunately, that's also become very popular within the white nationalist and neo-Nazi groups. And it's just something that I want to give you a heads up on. I would sometimes, when I was originally doing a lot of research, all of a sudden, I thought I was just getting a good historical analysis of something about the Viking Age or something, and then all of a sudden a bunch of racist language would spew out of the mouth of the speaker, and I realized that they were kind of using that to, recruit people, and it's unfortunate. So, like the Mjolnir, which is the Thor's hammer, I used to wear that all the time. It is officially just a cultural part of Germanic religion. It's found all over in archaeological sites of basically people of Germanic and Nordic heritage. But it has also become the symbol that's very common to be worn by people who are white supremacists. So this is a problem. This goes back actually to Nazi Germany, so it's a little bit talked about in some of these lectures, but not much. That German nationalism, as they try to reinvent themselves as Germans, they basically look to Icelandic sources mainly, and that's what Wagner, the German composer, did. And so Viking and Nordic imagery and all this kind of stuff was what the Nazis were kind of using for the theater of the new German as the old German, but actually this was a kind of an imagined a set of things in many ways, based on some history also. So that's kind of where this gets started. You know, what's interesting, I have a history book that talks about the fact that originally it was the Romans, and this is the history we're kind of learning about. They had what we would nowadays call a racist view towards the non-Roman world. And so all of the tribes, all the different groups on the periphery were referred to as barbarians, a word that they got from the Greeks. And that was basically a pejorative term for most of us that are of white European ancestry. In other words, before the Germanic tribes and the Celtic tribes and even the Slavic tribes became Christian and a part of the Christian Roman world, they were seen as the barbarian tribes, and they were very similar to Native Americans and other people in the world that had decentralized governments. They had local gods of the lake, of and mountains and trees, and all of that. And so this author says there was a time when the Romans invented the barbarian, and they wrote about them because these Germanic tribes and these Celtic tribes and so forth couldn't write about their own history. And then when Charlemagne takes power and kind of creates the Roman Empire as a Germanic Christian now in the 9th century, this author says it was at this point that the Germanic tribes, or the barbarians, reinvented the Roman. And so this convoluted history, so what ends up happening is that a lot of these leaders within Europe, they focus more on Roman identity, and the identity of the past was more murky. And so what you have now within some right-wing nationalist movements, in particular in Europe and sometimes even the United States, is they look to this pre-Christian, pre-Roman past as a way to assert like our ultimate identity, which to me is ridiculous in the sense that this should show our common universalness, where actually Native American indigenous people and the way societies were in Africa and so forth are the same as Europe as Europe has been, and that basically the Roman conquering empire just kind of conquered and absorbed the rest of Europe into this mindset, and then the Europeans went and conquered everybody else and started doing the same things that was actually done to our ancestors, and so it's a kind of a messy situation. Human history is messy. History is a little bit messy. And I guess everyone is always interpreting history for whatever means they want to, politically or internally. And I'm not going to be able to work through all that with this right now. I just wanted to point all this out. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you at least enjoy this material, and we'll be in touch.